Expect a solid plan from the president on how the state would protect whistleblowers. 2 lines were dedicated to this, but let's get more reaction from Bain & Co.'s whistleblower, that's Athol Williams. Athol, good morning and thank you very much for your time as always. Firstly, your overall view of the address. Did it rise to the occasion, recognize the moment we're in now?
Mfundo, I was hopeful in listening to the address that South Africans would finally get the type of decisive, bold leadership we are all yearning for, because hope is all we seem to have these days when much else is falling apart around us. We all live in hope. And I was sorely disappointed, like I think many others, for the lack of authenticity. Firstly, it seemed like the president was talking about a foreign country that he was divorced from, with that lack of compassion, the lack of authenticity with which he dealt with issues, the lack of taking responsibility for where we are in a country. This was not a natural disaster that we are trying to respond to. This is a man-made disaster of him and his own party's making that we are now dealing with. And I really expected a contrite president, a president saying, we are taking responsibility for this. And trust me, we are now going to address that. And we didn't get any of that.
Now to the issue around whistleblowers. 2 sentences was dedicated to this particular issue, a very big issue, one that is very personal for you. Today on our screens we write undisclosed location, not because you forgot to give our producers the location, but because you have run away fleeing, actually fearing for your own life and just uprooting your whole family. Was this adequate, that which you heard around whistleblowers and their protection?
Mfundo, I think the president's address last night was very clear. It sent a very clear message to whistleblowers that if you're an existing whistleblower like I am, like many others have been through state capture, the president's message is that the government doesn't care. The government doesn't care about the fact that you're suffering, that you're languishing, that you're living in fear, that your livelihood is destroyed. The government doesn't care, because that's an important message the president made last night. A year ago at the SONA, he had much stronger words talking about the urgent need to address the concerns of whistleblowers, and nothing happened. Last night's words were far less urgent, and I have no expectation that anything will change. Importantly, though, Mfundo, so for those who've already blown the whistle like me, whose lives are destroyed, he's saying we don't care. But what should worry us is he's saying, if you're a whistleblower thinking of blowing the whistle on corruption, just know that you're on your own. This government is not going to do anything to protect you. And in fact, it's in your own interest to be quiet. That's what our president said last night.